and welcome to No Icing. Today we have a special show, a special guest. I'm very excited to introduce to you somebody special, somebody that has taken care of me for many years, and it's my family. And we're going to learn so many things today. Anyone that struggles with chronic pain or digestive problems, things like that. My special guest today is going to teach us how he, with his services, can help anyone that struggles with chronic pain. And let me introduce you. Hello.
Hello.
This is
Good
my
morning.
friend, Dr. Greg. Hi, Dr. Greg.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Thank you
How
for
are you?
coming. I need to come see you. I'm stiff.
I
My
bet.
neck.
I bet. I know it's been a little
I'm
bit.
stiff. I know. Okay, so Dr. Greg is a chiropractor, and but he has many tools. It's not just what you do with your hands, but you also have like tools that you use on me over the years. You've adjusted me during what, two pregnancies, after
Yep.
pregnancy. Um, you've helped me with my carpal tunnel. I have carpal tunnel in both my wrists. I have fibromyalgia. I have woken up calling you in pain, texting you, help, I need help, I can't walk. I've woken up where I just can't walk, I can't move, or I wake up like this and my neck is just stiff and I can't move. And Dr.
Sure.
Greg is my savior. He helps me, he fixes me, he tells me what to do. He gives me instructions to follow up at home with ice packs and heat and all the things he tells me to do. And I always listen to him, and he always fixes me. Like don't wait, right? Don't wait if you're in pain.
Yes. Don't wait. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to live in pain. You don't have to. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, it's been great caring for you over the years. I get a few of those phone calls actually each day of somebody, one of my patients saying, "Help, help, help." So yeah, it's a good career to have. I'm lucky to have chosen this pathway to be able to help people and help them with their pain levels.
Yeah, and I have some questions about that. Like, when did you start? When did you know that you wanted to be a chiropractor? I think it was something to do with your mom, right? Didn't your mom have?
So no, so actually, so I was a massage therapist for 20 years. And that was one of the first things that led me to becoming a chiropractor. I could tell my clients that were under chiropractic care versus my clients that weren't under chiropractic care when I was a massage therapist. It was a world of difference. The ones that were under chiropractic care barely ever had to get massages. They didn't need as much care, versus the ones that weren't. They were constantly having muscular tension and pain, and so that was kind of what got the wheels turning inside of my head. And then what really led me to making the final decision was 15 years ago. Yeah, 15, no, 17 years ago. Wow, I'm old. 17 years ago, I was in my 13th car accident. And it was a very bad car accident. I was hospitalized for a while. I had a closed head injury, some brain damage, and then lots of other broken things on my body. But I dealt with daily migraines after that, and for about 2 years, I had daily migraines, and so I had a whole team. I became homeless, jobless. It was a mess, and so I had a whole team of doctors that was helping me nurse me back to health. And one of my doctors was a chiropractor, and it was my chiropractor who helped me get off of all the medication that all the other doctors had put me on. It was my chiropractor who I really attributed to bringing me back to health, getting rid of the daily migraines and helping me be able to become a functioning member of society again. And so I remember just being on his table one day and just getting a thought flash from the universe and just realized, hey, wait a second, I need to give this back. This is such a gift that has been given to me. I want to be able to give this back. And so right then and there, I decided to go. And I had been in college for so many years and didn't know what to do and just kept taking classes. And so I remember going to my counselor one day after that and saying, hey, I've decided finally I'm going to be a chiropractor. And she said, actually, you have so many credits that you actually will obtain 2 bachelor's degrees at this point because you've been taking so long to figure it out. And so, yeah, so I spent another quarter in school and then transferred off to chiropractic school after that. And so it's been quite a journey. But I graduated chiropractic school in 2014 and moved down to beautiful San Diego and started practicing down here. And I've been practicing ever since. It's been amazing.
mind. I knew you before you had your own practice. You used to work at an office with other chiropractors, but now you got
Correct.
so busy that you ended up opening up your own place. I was so excited.
Correct. Correct. Yes, I branched out on my own in 2019 to go into private practice, and now I've actually expanded. I have a wellness center in Bankers Hill, which is in downtown San Diego, and we offer chiropractic, acupuncture, massage, and stretch therapy. So we help a lot of people every single day. It's been pretty amazing.
That's so awesome. And
Yeah.
this is my producer Renee. Oh, your microphone
Hi,
is off.
Renee.
Hi.
This is our producer
Hi.
Renee.
Hi.
It's so good to meet you.
It's
I'm so curious about this topic because it's going to help a lot of people. Like this show is going to help a lot of people. There's a lot of people dealing with
excellent.
chronic pain, and they're looking for solutions. And it seems like for chronic pain is, different people have different needs and stuff like that.
Yes.
What do you tell patients who come to you and they say, I'm in chronic pain, I don't even know where to start, nothing is working. How do you take them from that to a place where you're really proud of the work that you did?
Sure, sure. So it's a great question. So the majority of my patients come in with chronic pain. It takes a couple of months to be able to get in to see me as a new patient, and so I don't get a lot of like, "Oh, I just fell down yesterday. Can you please help me today?" And so the vast majority of them come in with chronic pain, and I typically have two. There's two phases of care when patients come and see me. The first one is pain control, and then the second after that is just wellness. And so in the pain control portion, it's my job to get them feeling as good as I can, as fast as I can. And then after that, they transition more into a wellness model where they just come in every now and again electively for just regular checkups to make sure that we can maintain homeostasis in their body and keep them in balance. So typically in the very beginning of care, we have to blast the body with therapy, basically, to kind of pull them out of all of that chronic tension and pain that they've been in. So typically it takes about 1 to 2 visits a week, every week for a few weeks to get up to that point, and then we kind of wean off care from there. And so, yes, I practice a style of chiropractic called diversified style adjustment, which incorporates many different modalities within chiropractic. I also have training in other different modalities, but that's the main one that I like to incorporate into my practice. And then as Sandie had alluded to earlier, I also use tools within my practice. I use a drop piece, which is a part of the table that allows gravity to help adjust the body. And I use multiple spring-loaded instruments in order to get the force in newtons that it takes to move the bones into the position that they should be and take the pressure off of the system.
Wow.
So it is involved, and it also involves homework on the patient's behalf. Typically, when patients come in with chronic pain, they have to do. I give them homework, as Sandie had kind of alluded to earlier, with cold packs and hot packs and stretches, and I have typically very good results. And so it's a blessing to be able to watch people come in with so much tension and so much anxiety around their pain and so much pain, and to watch that become alleviated and just disappear. And so we get a lot of tears in the office, a lot of hugs, a lot of happiness, a lot of unicorns and rainbows. And so yeah,
Yes.
it's a good feeling. It's a good
I don't
feeling.
know what I would have did without you. I mean, I had a baby at 40 and a baby at 45, and I was dying. Remember, I was
Yes.
dying.
Yes.
And you have special things to help. You helped me with I was 8 months pregnant, and I came in there with my kids. Was so cool with me bringing my kids to the appointments. And you
Yes.
even made like special things for my big huge belly so that I could get adjusted with that big huge baby in there. And oh my God, like what a lifesaver. I mean, I don't know what I would have did without you. Oh, I'm gonna start crying.
It has been absolutely incredible. Yeah, pregnancy style adjustments are a little bit different because, as you know, pregnant women can't lay face down after around the second trimester, and so typically adjustments are all done face up and very safely. And there's specific things that we want to make sure that we do. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I think I may have cut you off. There's certain things that we definitely want to do. Sorry about that. For pregnancy patients, there's certain points that we don't want to touch on the body and certain points that we definitely want to address. So yes,
Right, I
pregnancy.
remember learning that from you because there's pressure points that induce
There
labor,
are.
like,
Yes, yes.
yeah,
And
I
those
remember
include the
that.
very tops of the shoulders. So we don't ever want to push down on the tops of the shoulders while a patient is pregnant. And then the other spot is the very inside of both ankles. We don't want to put any pressure on that area either because there are meridians there, acupuncture meridians that actually go straight to the uterus and you can cause a miscarriage. However, in the end of pregnancy, when mom is about to deliver the baby, we want to go hard on those areas because we want to get that baby out and welcome that baby to the
Oh
world.
yeah. Yeah, and my friend Renee that you're meeting right today, she also suffers from chronic pain. I know she has like migraines a lot.
Sure.
What would you be able to do for someone like her that to help her with her, chronic migraines and some of the
Sure.
pain, alleviate some of the pain that she has if she was to come to
Sure.
San Diego?
Sure.
Thank you,
Migraine.
Sandie.
So as you probably know, migraines are tricky. Migraines are very tricky in the diagnosis portion and tricky in the treatment portion. And so each patient with migraines is typically, there's no cookie cutter way to treat migraines. And so typically what I have found is that we also don't really know the exact cause of all migraines. And so because we don't know the exact cause, we don't necessarily know the exact treatment. And so it's kind of a shotgun approach to come to treatment. And people with migraines understand that. They've gone through the ringer with different medications and different ways to treat it. And so so the sweet spot with migraines is to make sure that the cervical spine has full range of motion and no subluxations or no fixations within the joint spaces. A lot of what I have found is that a lot of migraines are actually triggered by cervicogenic headaches. Cervicogenic meaning it comes from the cervical spine, comes from the neck. And then that tension triggers a migraine, which then causes the auras or the nausea or anything else that might be associated with the migraine. So typically with migraines, I address two bones specifically. The atlas and the axis, or C1 and C2, the very top two bones in your spine. These are very, very important bones. So important, in fact, that there are certain branches of chiropractic that only treat those bones. They don't adjust anything else in the body because they're so, so important. Those two bones are basically the bridge between your brain and your spinal cord. Your spinal cord travels through those bones. And so that's the connection that your brain makes with the rest of your body. And so what we see a lot with people who suffer from migraines, is that those bones become fixated out of place. The muscles in that area, the very tiny intrinsic muscles, splenius capitis, splenius cervicis, those suboccipital muscles tend to tense up. Those pinch down on a nerve called greater occipital nerve, and then that greater occipital nerve will transfer those migraines up. And so I typically have very, very good luck with care for patients that have migraines by simply treating those areas. Now, everything in the body is connected though. So I treat the entire spine and the extremities because everything is connected to everything else. And so in my practice, you get a full spine adjustment, but I definitely focus a lot of time and attention on those areas. And then we like to also integrate the adjustment when it comes to migraine patients with other forms of healing as well. So acupuncture is really, really great for people who have migraines because the nervous system has to be tapped into and calmed down, and just make sure to kind of manage that.
Yeah, and something else I wanted to mention, we have we have a huge fan base, and a lot of our fans do suffer from chronic pain, all different types of things. Some of them have digestive problems, some of them have
Sure.
just so many things, fibromyalgia. There's so many, we have a fan base that everybody with everything. And the funny thing is, like, every time I've come to see you, like, I know I could lay on your chiropractic table and I won't even have to tell you like what's wrong. Like, I know you have like this magic thing that you do where you can just roll my spine and you could be like, oh girl, you're out. We got to fix you right here. Like, you can just tell by feeling me where I'm out and where I'm messed up. And like, it's like, you're just magic. Like, you just know without me even saying anything, you could tell where I'm inflamed or where things are popped out and muscles are not right. And like, you just have something magical about you that you could just tell.
So So, because I was a massage therapist for a couple of decades before becoming a chiropractor, body work has been my career my whole life. And so, even in massage school, we did an exercise where we would stand up, and we did the same thing in chiropractic school, where we would have to stand up in front of our classmates in our underwear. And our classmates would assess everything that was going on with our body so that we could be able to be visually trained to just look at a body and to know what's going on ahead of time, and then we back it up with a palpation. So Sandie, a lot of times you would come into the office and I was paying attention to certain things about your body while we were just chatting before you even got on the table. So I would look for one shoulder that's higher than the other, or a specific type of way that your head was tilting, or how your gait was when you walked in the office. And then I back it up with palpation. So palpation being like hands-on and feeling exactly for what I'm feeling for, to find the joint fixation and the subluxation and the taut and tender fibers. And so it's kind of funny. Like, I'll be walking through the grocery store with my husband and I'll say to him, "Hey, that guy right there has really bad low back pain on the left side." And it just drives him crazy, or because I can just know, you just know once you have the training in and you can visually tell what's going on with a person, it's actually pretty crazy. It's pretty fun to be able to hit it spot on.
It's like a superpower. You have
It
X-ray
kind of is.
vision. You think you
It
have
kind of
X-ray
is.
vision. That is so cool.
Yeah,
Well,
it's very fun.
when you were talking, it occurred to me, like, is there anyone that you would say should not be going to a chiropractor? Because even if you're not in chronic pain, it sounds like we all have tension and stress, and I think everyone has something kind of out of whack.
Sure.
Is it possible that really everyone might want to try this just to go to that next stage of health, even if they
Yes.
feel good?
Yeah, the vast majority of people can definitely benefit from chiropractic care. However, that being said, there are contraindications to chiropractic care. So we want to be very careful in certain situations. So certain situations being if a patient has osteoporosis, or if their bone, or osteopenia, if their bones are very brittle or very soft, we want to be very, very careful because we don't want to fracture bones while we're adjusting bones. And so there's different ways, there's other tools that we can use in those certain situations. There's other certain specific diseases that can be very dangerous when it comes to chiropractic. One being a disease called ankylosing spondylitis, where your bones fuse together as you age. And so we don't want to blast through bones that are fusing together, because we can break those bones apart and it can be life-threatening for the patient. And so there are absolutely contraindications. So typically a new patient, when they come in to see me, it takes about 30 to 45 minutes to do a full assessment and to make sure that we're approaching the care carefully and safely, because I took an oath a long time ago to first do no harm, and I promise to forever do that. And so to answer your question, the vast majority of people can absolutely benefit from chiropractic care. There are, however, a few diseases that we want to be very, very safe with.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That
and
is
what's
so
that
cool.
disease, Renee? What's that disease that one of our fans has? I don't want to say the name, but where there's like a swelling right here, like in this part of the neck, there's like a swelling. I don't know what the name of that one is.
I'm forgetting the name of it too.
Chianti?
Yeah.
Is it Chianti?
Chianti or something like
Oh,
that.
there's a Chiari formation.
Chiari. That's it. Chiari.
So yes, a Chiari malformation happens when your brainstem grows down into your spinal cord, into your upper neck. And so I actually have a few patients that have had Chiari malformation. Typically, Chiari malformation is found when you're a kid. It's found when you're younger. And so most patients that have Chiari malformation know that they have a Chiari malformation. There's symptoms, there's problems that come along with it, and so to lead them to that diagnosis. And so with things like Chiari malformation, they can still be adjusted. We just want to make sure that we do it safely. So I have a certain tool that's called an activator. It's a spring-loaded instrument where Sandie, I think I've used it on you a few times.
I love the activator.
Little clicky device. Yes. And so that's a way to deliver a very specific amount of force very, very safely to an area. So we use that a lot on patients that have Chiari malformation in their cervical spine, or even patients that have osteoporosis. That's how we get them adjusted. And so versus a very large, high velocity, low amplitude thrust, we use one of those small tools instead, which is a lower velocity.
And that helps them manage their chronic pain, like that.
Yes,
keeps
it
their
absolutely
migraines
does.
down.
Yes, it does.
Does it keep
and typically people with
sensitivity down and all that?
Absolutely. And typically people with Chiari malformations tend to have headaches because there's a lot of fixation in that area, in that upper cervical spine. So a lot of them, the vast majority of my patients that have Chiari malformations tend to have cervicogenic headaches.
Wow. And what
Yeah.
would you recommend for someone that has lupus? Would there be a
Yeah,
special
autoimmune
treatment?
diseases
So
generally.
sure. So
Yeah.
autoimmune diseases are tricky, and each autoimmune disease is different from the next. And so, folks with lupus, I have a few patients with lupus, and it's more of just a managing the pain. It's more of just a consistent wellness type of a care plan where they just come in every now and again for consistent checkups to just make sure that the inflammation inside of the body stays down, their nervous system stays nice and calm, to make sure that the lupus doesn't kind of flare up. And so,
Yeah.
so yeah, with autoimmune, like rheumatoid arthritis, all of those autoimmune diseases, each one is very, very different from the next. So we can't give a blanket statement about all autoimmune diseases because they're each handled completely differently.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
lupus
you. Yeah,
sucks. I'm
it's so
sorry
good to
about
know.
that.
And I know a
It's
lot of people,
okay.
a lot of my friends are always, like a lot of them are afraid to try a chiropractor because they've heard stories or something. They're afraid, they're
Sure,
scared.
sure,
But
sure.
like with you, like I would trust you with my kids. I trusted you during pregnancy, after pregnancy. I mean, I feel like you have to get to know, like you have to find the right chiropractor, right?
Absolutely,
And
yes, and there's reasons why you hear those horror stories. Those horror stories exist. Chiropractic care, just to start off, is an extremely safe modality for care. Our malpractice insurance is one of the lowest in the business in the medical field because insurance companies know that we're so safe. My malpractice insurance costs me less than my car insurance does, and my car, I have a perfect driving record. And so, just to kind of reiterate that, but in the 80s, the American Medical Association was actually sued by the chiropractic board because for decades they had purposefully slandered chiropractic because they had noticed that they were losing patients to chiropractic and holistic care, and so they were losing money. And so they started to tell the teachers, to instruct the teachers at medical schools to inform their students of how dangerous chiropractic care is and to never let your patients go to see a chiropractor. And so they were actually sued in the 80s for slander, and they lost. And so the chiropractors won. But there's a lot of that's still, that
lingers,
mentality
yeah.
still, it lingers because all of
Hmm.
those teachers had taught all these students, and now these students are older and they've been in practice and they're teaching their students the same kind of garbage. And so, but the people that
Yeah.
actually go and get a chiropractic adjustment, that once you get one, you know that it's where it's at. So
Well, maybe Renee, when you come visit me in San Diego, maybe we'll go see Dr.
there you
Greg.
go. I'd love to
I
I
would
meet you.
need to.
trust you,
Absolutely.
doctor. I
That's
would trust
fantastic.
Dr. Greg. He's
Fantastic.
awesome. I can already tell he's so brilliant. He has such a good rapport with
Fantastic.
his patients. It's obvious. Yes. If you're anywhere in the San Diego area and you can get it and you could get into his practice, which you might not be able to.
Yes. It does
Yeah,
take a
book
minute,
it
but
in
as long as you book
advance.
ahead of time, you're good to go.
Book way
Okay,
in
there you
advance.
go.
Yeah.
Urban Spine, that's the name of my practice. Yeah, we have a practice in Brancos Hill, and it's absolutely, it's a good time. It's a good time.
That is really awesome. Yeah, because I've been maybe not afraid, but like reticent. I just feel like people generally don't know a lot about
Sure.
chiropractors, and
Sure,
people,
sure.
yeah, like there's like, for example, what would you tell somebody that you're offering that the MDs are not offering? Like you said, a lot of they were losing business. Like, what do you think is the draw to chiropractic?
So MDs typically focus more on biochemistry and the biochemical aspects of the body, and that's where the prescriptions come in, and that's where those kind of things come in. Whereas chiropractors focus more on the physics of the body. So chiropractors and MDs, DCs and MDs, we have the same amount of education. We have the same classes. We have to take all of the same things until it gets to the point of the residency. And that's where MDs actually will go in and do a residency and work underneath a doctor in shadow. We have preceptorships within chiropractic where students go out and then they study underneath a chiropractor before they go into practice. So it's a little bit similar, but not exactly the same. So MDs spend more time in school, but the actual amount of science education is exactly the same. What they do is they add in a little bit more biochemistry and pharmacology classes where we add in more physics classes. And so it's just there's many different ways of tuning a piano, I always like to tell people. and chiropractic approaches it in a different way than than MDs do. And so we do get I get a lot of patients that are very fearful, a lot of patients that have heard horror stories. With those patients, we just go very, very slow. I make sure that I do things at the level of their comfort because I want my patients to be comfortable. If my patients are not comfortable while they're on the table, then they tighten up and then they tense and then it causes them pain. And that's the opposite of the goal. And so I get a lot of patients where they're very scared of their neck getting adjusted or they're very scared of certain things. And so we just avoid that until they're comfortable with that part. So yeah,
Wow.
lots of people come in fearful. So you wouldn't be the first one.
But that was very
common.
Well, that was very educational for me too. I don't know why I think it's what you're talking about, that there was a campaign at some point to sort of
absolutely
discredit intentionally because you were too good at your job. You were you guys were actually curing people from a holistic level and for long term rather than just taking a pill or something or becoming dependent on that.
Exactly.
So that makes total sense to me, and
yeah.
And what you said about the insurance, by the way, because I'm an attorney, but when you talked about the insurance being so low, I immediately said that to me tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah.
About how dangerous it would be, like to
absolutely.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Yep. Yay.
Yay.
Well, hopefully I get to see you next time you come to
Yes,
San Diego.
hopefully you will.
Yes, we'll have to book in advance. Thank you so much for coming. I know we have to cut
absolutely.
it. I'm
Thank
so
you for
excited
having me.
you got to teach everybody about how wonderful you are. I wish there was one of you in every state. We could like multiply Dr. Greg and put one in every state. That would be awesome. Because we have fans on the East Coast right now. We have fans all over. So
sure.
If anyone's in the San Diego area or planning to come, make sure you hit me up. I'll give you Dr. Greg's information. We'll have to book it in advance because he gets so busy.
Yeah.
Great. Yep. Book in advance and you're good to go.
Nice meeting you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Okay.
Nice
thank you so much.
All right, you guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.